So, have you ever taken a vacation and then you came back and needed a vacation from your vacation? That's what we talked about basically in today's Thoughtfully Fit Gym free workout. We talked about how to thoughtfully unplug. How do you train to take time off where you really recharge your batteries instead of taking time off and staying connected and then feeling exhausted because you were trying to be present to the adventure, to your family, to the vacation, while also trying to be present to your team and your work and your inbox. And what we know is that doesn't work. I'm a living testament to that doesn't work. So we want to share with you today some of the benefits of unplugging. What are some of the obstacles that get in the way of unplugging and the pitfalls and some strategies to help you. And if you miss this free workout every month, we have a free workout. It's a chance for you to hit the pause button, to be able to invest in your professional development, to train, to do a workout for your mind. So we'd love for you to join us next time.
So let's start with what are some of the benefits of unplugging? There's tons of research on this that shows taking that time off and not just time out of the office, but actually unplugging creates renewed energy. How often have you heard don't quit your job until you take a vacation? Then you'll know if you really want to quit your job or not. Higher productivity, increased creativity, reduced burnout, and stronger relationships. Not just stronger relationships with the people that maybe you are taking the time off with, but also stronger relationships in the office because you needed ideally to design what happens when you leave the office. Now, all that makes sense, right? So why don't we take off? Why don't we unplug when we do? So we have conditioned, Darcy and I have studied this a little bit, both from our own tendencies and what we see with clients, and have identified four different conditions. So the first one we call work FOMO fever. And this is the sort of that feeling of panic that decisions are going to be made if you're not plugged in. That if you're not checking your email, something's going to move along in a way that you're not going to be happy with. Or worse yet, people are going to realize they don't need you in order to do that work.
And I'll say that for that FOMO, I was working with a client recently, and he had an entire shift in his mindset where he realized that the stuff that was getting done when he was gone actually allowed him to work at a higher level, to be more in his unique ability to get out of the weeds. So the fear he had of that happening actually turned into a benefit for the team.
So the next condition that we see is the always on syndrome. And this was the one that in the workout, the most people seem to experience. This is this feeling that your job, the position that you're in, the role that you have requires you to be available all the time, whether that's true or not. But there's this sense that if you don't answer your email, if you're not answering your phone, something's going to happen because people need you. People are depending on you. People are relying on you. And therefore, you always have to be available. Now, it makes sense, right? That's how you feel. And you can also see when that's taken out, that's not sustainable. And that can lead to burnout real quick. The next one we call the habitual hustle disorder. I have to admit this one I'm definitely afflicted with. This is even if you are telling yourself, okay, I'm going to unplug, I'm not going to do it, you're still addicted to that phone. You are still checking the email and checking what's going on because what is there? Even if you know, okay, I don't care what's there. I'm unplugged. People know that I'm not checking email. It's just a habit at this point, and it's hard not to. And then finally is what we call productivity paranoia. And with this one, it's the fear that if you disconnect, things will fall apart. Or the variation of this is people will just see you as a slacker, that nobody else is taking vacation. How can you take a vacation? Or you're the leader of the team. You expect me to do all this work while you're out. That's just being a slacker.
Yeah, and one person shared as we were exploring and doing a poll and asking which of these is most common. There was another version of of these four conditions that probably shows up in a couple of them. And she said, I hesitate to unplug because I have fear when I come back, if I do unplug, that I just have twice the amount of work and I cannot even catch up, or I'll just regret and dread that I did. And I think one of the things that we talked about and that we want to share next is what happens. How do you prevent that from happening? And how do you train your team and set clear boundaries so that that doesn't happen?
So the next thing we're going to do here is give you some questions. And these questions are both for yourself to lock in, to think about what it is that you want from your time off, but then to also communicate with your team in whatever way is necessary to make sure that they are aware of what you are looking for.
And one person in the workout, at the end, when we were talking about next steps and actions, not only communicating with your team, he said, I'm going to communicate with my wife and I'm going to design some really clear expectations as well. And so thinking through not only what that unplugging looks like as it relates to the people you're unplugging, or work or job or role that you're unplugging from, but then also how to design it and the people you're going to be unplugging with.
Absolutely. So here are the first questions. These might be more for yourself, maybe with the people that you're unplugging with, but what's the purpose of the unplugging? And what happens if you don't unplug? And so this honestly is a question that I discuss with my husband every time we take a vacation, short or long, of okay, what's the purpose for this time away? Sometimes we take vacations because we want to go see a baseball game and it's just far away. And so it those situations, okay, we know we're going to be in the airport, we're going to have a couple of days in the city, but I'm going to be working during that time because we're just going to the baseball game at night. So the purpose of that is just to go to the baseball game. Compared to some of our other vacations where the purpose of that trip is to really reconnect again, or to really spend some time sightseeing and looking at the new space we're in. My husband would also probably tell you there is a difference between work Jill and unplugged Jill. And I appreciate when he is clear with me which one he is expecting for that trip. Because truth be told, I would probably default to just at least having a toe in, just sort of checking it out. And so really getting clear on that purpose helps me then design the rest of the time that we're going to be taking off.
And I love what you said there, Jill. The second example, I unplug to reconnect. That's just great. But there are different reasons that you unplug and different ways that it might look.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So here are the next couple of questions. And these, if you don't share the answers to the previous questions with your team, definitely share the answers to these questions with your team. And so start first by thinking for yourself, what do you want to come back to from vacation? And what do you not want to come back to? And so to use the example that Darcy gave of like knowing I do not want to come back to a mountain of emails. If that's what you don't want to come back to, there are ways you can do that, right? You can put on your out of office message. And I have to say, I've started just to collect out of office emails because I've seen out of office emails that say, I'm out of the office until next week. I will respond to you when we get back or when I get back. That's sort of the typical one. But I'm also seeing I am out of the office and when I come back, we'll be deleting all of my emails. So if you want me to see your email, email me again next week. Or if you need immediate assistance, email this person instead. Um, or there are coworkers who decide to share an inbox for a period of time, letting people know, okay, this is going to be checked by multiple people. And so thinking about what do you not want to come back to? And not from a place of, oh my gosh, this is impossible. I'm not going to be able to figure this out. But truly, what do you want to come back to? What do you not want to come back to so that you can make that plan for what it is and let your coworkers know? The next question is, how unplugged will you be? So instead of looking unplugged, I guess even the metaphor that we're using of unplugged, you're either plugged in or you're plugged out. But we don't have physical outlets that we are plugging into here. So they can be more of a dimmer switch than an on-off switch. And so considering for yourself first, how unplugged will you be? Will you be completely unconnected? Are you just saying, okay, I might be working, but do not schedule a meeting with me? I'm going to be working, but don't give me any tasks with deadlines while the time that I'm out. These are all different things that people that can't necessarily assume that they know, that you can't assume that they know what you're going to want. You might say, I don't want email, but I do want you to call me. Or, again, you can't prevent people from sending you email, but let them know, I'm not going to be reading my email. If you need me, call me. Or don't call me. If you call me, I'm not going to be answering my phone, but I'll check text at the end of the day, or I'll check email at the end of the day. And Darcy, yeah.
The beautiful thing about this is you get to decide. And there are times when I feel like blessed that I can go to Denver and hike and play and have an adventure for a week, and I can work remotely. And even though I'm having an adventure, I'm working. I'm just choosing to be at a different location. And so I'm going to be working, and I define for myself what that looks like. And I maybe I'll take a half day or unplug, but I'm working. There are other times, like when my girls and I go to our Moon Beach family camp, where I say, I'm not going to be checking email, but if there is anything that you think I should know about, or a client issue, text me. But then we're leaving soon to go to Ghana. There, I'm going to be off the grid. Like the dimmer switch is all the way off, because that's what I'm going to design with my clients and with my team, and that they can handle anything. And certainly they'll know how to reach me at the hotel where we'll be, but that's going to be a much higher bar and a greater degree of unpluggedness.
And Darcy's, what she just said in terms of, if something comes up, let me know. Then you can contact me. We have discussed that a lot as a team. And so that brings us to our final slide here of, if you're saying something like, if something comes up, we know what that means when Darcy says that. Does your team know what you mean when you say that? They're even just the quick question that can be is it a 1-minute question, or a half hour of time? It's not that much of your time when you're going to be gone all week. So what is a quick question? What is urgent? What is a crisis? These are all terms that maybe it seems like it should be self-explanatory or common sense. And so if that's the case, it won't take long to put onto paper and everybody can agree to. But just taking that time to really define those terms, so that when somebody calls you with a quick question that you don't think is a quick question, you've nipped that in the bud if you take care of that before you unplug.
And what we want to leave you with, as always, is your Thoughtfully Fit core workout. Your core is to pause, think, and act. So taking a moment right now to pause and think about, when's the next time you're going to unplug, and how do you want that to be? And then act by designing it and training to make that happen. We love creating high-performing people and teams. So if there is anything that you want to explore with us as it relates to training, coaching, any kind of tool to be able to unplug more effectively, because it does increase productivity, which seems counterintuitive, reach out to us. We would love to connect with you. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next time.